Sam? That's 3. Can you come now? In now then?
Yeah, because he's going to go. He's going across the line again. Yeah, he's going to. He already did one. No, he didn't. So if he does.
So these then live shots from the pit lane as we continue our coverage of the DRS 100, which will be starting in just a few minutes' time. Will of course be an 8-minute race plus 1 lap once the timer has ticked down, and the race organisers and stewards just going through a final few bits and pieces then with our DRS 100 drivers. So the engines are started and we are then ready to go for the DRS 100 first heat of the day. Championship leader Callum Gunning starting on the first row of the grid, and you can see he is one to watch certainly in this opening race. We have Dylan Reid making up the top 8, and Dylan Reid second in the championship after an impressive round in Clay Pigeon. Line up there alongside Callum is Thomas Davison. In 9th place, Toby Baldry alongside Charlie Humphreys. Lily Jeffs and Nikki Taylor next to each other, ahead of Alicia Palowski and Samuel Cunliffe. Joe Sheppy in 15th place with Dylan Briley lining up alongside. Callum Lockett in 17th with Vijay Ramlal in 18th. Harry Graham and Ben Cartside respectively in 19th and 20th. Harry Graham was one to watch in Clay Pigeon. So off we go then at the start of this DRS 100 first heat of the day. The drivers just lining up as they're coming around the latter stages of the track. Making their way now towards Devil's Elbow, which leads into Paddock Bend. If you get Devil's Elbow right, you get a really nice run into Paddock's End and a great launch into the start-finish straight. Thomas Davison will be looking to try and get the jump then on our championship leader, Callum Gunning. Just easing their way around those final few corners, these tense few moments before the rolling start. Always intriguing. And once they go past that red cone, it is the race beginning, and off we go then. All carts getting away cleanly. Making their way up then past Club Corner towards the Dragon Straight. It is then a really sharp right-hand turn. Full speed pretty much towards the Spoon. And you can see Callum gunning, consolidating that pole position and maintaining that race lead, with Thomas Davison lining up in second place next to him, still holding on to that second position. 8 minutes then on the clock in this first heat. And the first lap then is completed. And you can see gunning ahead then of Davison. Brewer in third with Harvey in fourth. Holdsworth making up the top 5. Beautiful, picturesque scenery here in GYG. Just a stone's throw away from Snowdonia. You can see lovely countryside in the background, pretty much as far as the eye can see. And the weather absolutely perfect here for the second round of the Daniel Ricciardo series. So leading the way, it is gunning out in front at the moment, ahead of Davison. And this is where you've got to be really careful, because if you don't get the right line, as we've been saying, out of Devil's Elbow, then it can really mess up your start to the next lap. So the race is absolutely flying by. We're already 2 minutes in nearly to this first DRS 100 race of the afternoon, and Gunning has built up a half a second lead then over Davison, looking fairly comfortable out there in the lead at the moment. Brewer putting Davison under a bit of pressure in that battle for second and third. Harvey all over the back of Brewer. And you can see maybe Harvey will start to think about making a move in that battle for third place. So leading then after the first 4 laps, gunning out in front, Davison in second, Brewer in third, with Harvey in fourth place. And you can see there Brewer then getting that move done and moving up into third. Davison using as much of the track available. Brewer now eyeing up potentially a move into second place. So gunning ahead then of that little battle for second, third, fourth and fifth, comfortably leading the race. But it's not going to go all his way today, because in the second and third heats he's going to have to start a bit further back. But this is the battle for second, third and fourth, and it really is close out there in the first DRS 100 heat of the day. Currently Davison ahead of that little pack. And having a look up the outside there is Harvey, putting a bit of pressure then on Brewer. Coming into the back of the shot is Holdsworth, putting a bit of pressure on the second, third, fourth and fifth places. So this is interesting, isn't it? This battle for second and third really could go down to the wire. Harvey just trying to get a sniff up the inside, but not quite close enough at the moment. But then Harvey gets a better run out of the turn and does indeed take that third place. So Harvey moving up into third place. Davison still in second, but could Harvey now begin to put a bit of pressure on the second place man? Gunning comfortably out in front at the moment. Heading towards then the Devil's Elbow, getting a good run out. So 5 or 6 carts all fancy themselves to potentially get themselves onto the podium in this first heat of the day. 2.5 minutes remaining. Brewer then overtaken by Taylor in the battle for 4th. Taylor will look to try and come back. And it's close as you can get between Davison and Harvey in that battle for 2nd and 3rd. 2 minutes left on the clock. Kart 100 and Kart 8 in a very interesting battle here for 2nd place. Harvey in Kart 8, Davison in Kart 100. Harvey all over the back then of Davison. These two starting in 2nd and 3rd place respectively as we enter then the final 90 odd seconds of this first DRS 100 heat of the day. Who will keep their cool? And a huge clip of the apex there by Davison, and that allows Harvey to get a better run out of the corner, and Harvey, after that mistake from Davison, takes 2nd place here in the DRS 100, but Davison looking instantly to respond. We saw just a huge bounce off the apex there, and that really is something that Davison will have wanted to have avoided. It's lost him a lot of time, but already coming straight back at Harvey. This race is by no means done as we enter the final minutes of the DRS 100 first heat of the day. And you see how precise you have to be. Just one little mistake heading out of Devil's elbow, and that then makes things very difficult heading round Paddock Bend and into the start-finish straight. So 40 seconds left on the clock. We'll have one more lap now and then a final lap after that. And an excellent overtake that there by Rigg, getting past Holdsworth for 6th place. Brewer then in a battle with Rigg now. Rigg looking to try and pick up a few extra places in the final parts of this first heat. So the clock ticks down to 0 as we enter our final lap. Gunning out in front with Harvey in 2nd. A good battle though between 2nd and 3rd, Harvey and Davison. Gunning has led from start to finish. He's the championship leader and in total control out there in this first heat. You can see quite a gap ahead of our 2nd place man, Harvey. So Gunning just making the way towards Devil's elbows for the final time. It is going to be victory once again for Callum Gunning, who takes the checkered flag ahead then of Harvey in 2nd place, keeping us entertained in that battle for 2nd, with Davison in 3rd, Taylor in 4th and Brewer in 5th. Rigg coming home in an impressive 6th place, Cunliffe in 7th, Holdsworth in 8th, Baldry in 9th, with Sheppy rounding up the top 10. So that then confirmation of the standings after the DRS 100 heat, and you can see their confirmation, Callum Gunning, the race leader. And of course now we will have the DRS 125. At which point I think we have a brief pause where we can maybe head into the pits to see if we can catch up with some of our drivers ahead then of the DRS 125 first heat of the day.
Hi Morgan, can you hear me? Cool, is Luke down there doing the grid cam? Do I need to go down? Well, there's a man in a high vis floating around the hub firming. I'm not your top priority. I get it.
So a great start to the day in GYG, and we're joined by the race winner of the DRS 100, Callum Gunning. Callum, everything's going your way at the moment. Victorious, of course, in Clay Pigeon. Victorious in the first heat of the day after starting from first place. You can't do much wrong at the minute, mate.
No, yeah, we got really lucky just being able to start on pole and we was able to capitalise and just get away.
And you made it look easy, but I'm guessing it's not easy out there on the track, because you've got to concentrate so hard with such a high-speed circuit and such high-speed corners. It's not straightforward as you make it look.
No, you have to be, every single lap has to be consistent and fast, and it's really difficult to keep concentration.
Well, listen, we're standing here in the scrutineering bay at the moment, and there's a lot that goes into getting these karts out on the track, and I guess a big team working behind the scenes for you. You obviously have a very supporting family.
Yeah, definitely. Couldn't do it without them.
Good man. Well, listen, congratulations. You are, of course, the race winner from DRS 100. We'll let you crack on. But we do, of course, have coverage of the DRS 125. First heat coming up in a couple of moments' time.